To be quite honest with you, I want to be upset with Barcelona's 2-2 draw away at Mallorca, but it's hard to be upset. I mean, it's hard to argue that Real Mallorca didn't deserve to take anything out of this game. In fact, much like Celta de Vigo on Saturday, Mallorca had, I think they deserve very much to get something out of this game. But again, like I said, I kind of want to be upset because Barcelona had everything in their hands to make it so that Mallorca, just like Celta de Vigo, would have left with nothing from this game. I mean, it's hard to look past that miss by Raphinha and that shot from João Felix that hit the post. Anywho, hello everyone and welcome to Blog on Everything, and this is a match review of FC Barcelona's 2-2 draw away at Real Mallorca. Goals coming from Raphinha and Fermin Lopez for Barca on the day, and of course Amdon Prats and Vedat Muriqi, the man who just, always finds a way to terrorize the big teams. He now has goals against Atleti, against Real Madrid, against Barcelona as well. They all know him. They all can cope with him apparently. He's big, he's physical, and Barca today just couldn't really get a grip on the match, just like, I repeat, the match against Celta de Vigo. But this time around, I would say that the goals left a bit more of a bitter taste in my mouth, to put it that way. Because if we're being completely honest here, both of them just came about because Muriqi, he's like the one guy who Mallorca are going to look for with those long balls and those crosses into the box. And somehow each time he kept on finding himself being unmarked. And it's something which definitely Xavi and his team will have to look into, especially the fact that for the, fourth time this season now, Barcelona have struggled against a team that played with a back five, okay? Started off with Getafe, Barca struggled. Then we saw Cadiz do the same, Barcelona struggled. And of course, Celta de Vigo now and Mallorca have done it back to back. And it gets worse because pre-match, Xavi Aguirre, the Real Mallorca coach, was out there talking about, we know what Barcelona struggle with, and it's what Cadiz did, and it's what Getafe did, and it's what Celta did, and it's what we're going to do, and that's exactly what they did. And I won't really give my usual kind of match preview. I should probably put that out there, like no negatives, no positives from this one. It just feels it's a bit more ranty. This is one of my rant reviews. I guess we can throw it over there with that pile, because in some ways, I guess what we saw from this game and also from the Celtic game is we got to see exactly what the floor or a terrible performance, I should put it that way, looks like for someone like João Cancelo. Now against Celta, of course, he was able to rescue his performance with that late assist and goal. This time around, of course, that didn't happen. He just seemed off with everything, his passing, his tackling. Thankfully, none of the goals, I would say, had him at fault this time around. And okay, in fact, even just generally against Celta, he wasn't really at fault for any of the actual goals that were scored. But he was at fault for a lot of what Barcelona were failing to do during build-up, because his passing, like I said, and his touch were just that little bit off, and it's led to passing sequences breaking down and, Barcelona players getting smothered on the ball. We did, of course, here see some good performances, once again, I should say, from the youngest players who are on the pitch. Starting with Xavi, then we saw Lamine and Fermin come on and continue that trend. And I should probably also give, flowers here to Raphinha. He deserves them, even though he missed arguably Barcelona's best chance of the game. And in fact, he kind of did a Darwin Núñez here, didn't he? He bottled what was the easier chance, but he scored with a ridiculous banger from like 30 yards out or something like that. And at the end of the day, I guess this really isn't the kind of match which I'm going to be too upset about. I mean, some people might say, well, we should have had a pen and whatnot. And while I would agree that I thought it was a penalty, I understand it not being given, and I'm not going to argue against it not being given. I mean, it's not like Barcelona get penalties anyway, right? Over the past 2 years, we've only had like 3 or 4 penalties, and we missed 2 of them. Okay, so penalties with Barca, it doesn't really happen that much. And on top of that, it's just how the balance of things is in La Liga. You don't get a penalty today, next time you get a dodgy pen, or next time you get away with, what should have been a penalty for the opposition. Like I remember there was that match we beat Valencia 1-0 where Valencia still have had a penalty, but they didn't. So we'll just throw it there as one of those matches which, yes, Barcelona could have won, but they easily as well could have lost. And if we're being completely honest, a draw is probably the fair result here. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism coming in as well for Xavi and saying that he's depending so much on individualism in this team. And I don't really know how much of that I agree with, because if you look at how Barcelona scored their second goal in particular, it's not really that's not individualism, okay? Yes, it's individuals doing brilliant things on the ball, Lamine with the fake and then the pass into space to Raphinha, who on his weaker foot makes a good cutback to Lewandowski, who does a good dummy for Fermin to be there. But those things are happening because those are coached into the players. They know to make the runs, and they know that in the case of Lewandowski, if they leave the ball, there's another teammate coming behind them. So, I don't really get this, which people like doing, where if Barcelona win, then it's because of the individuals, and if Barca don't win, then it's because of Xavi. Like, it feels like wanting to have your cake and eat it for me, Either Xavi is responsible for the good and the bad, or individual performances are responsible for the good and the bad. And in this case, I thought that the bad, which happened for Barca in this game, it was all down to things that Xavi Hernandez honestly has no control over. How is Xavi supposed to be concocting a system that will make his defenders win those area duels against Morigi, right? It's just whether or not you do it. And same as well with that second goal that Mallorca scored just before the break. That's got nothing to do with anything that Xavi could have changed. It's just up to the players on the pitch in the moment, making bad calls, and of course suffering because that partnership between Inigo Martinez and Araujo, which does have the potential to be Barca's most physical centre-back duo, just doesn't yet have any kind of chemistry to it. But anyway, that's basically that. I don't really have that much time to talk too much. I don't know why I've talked this long. But please let me know your thoughts in the comments on that match. Obviously, it's deflating to not be able to, build the momentum of going top. And, Madrid will now probably win tomorrow and go back on top. But, it is what it is at the end of the day. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Otherwise, I thank you for tuning in. Have a great day and Forza Barça.